What up? It's the Grandpa MC coming at you with another video. Like, subscribe, share, comment if you like. Alright, man. This video gonna be about Puka Nakcua. So Puka Nakcua is a three-year wide receiver for the Los Angeles Rams. He's been killing it the last 3 years. Samoan guy, if I'm not mistaken, from Brigham Young. At first he was quiet, but this year he been talking a lot more. So recently he came out and had some statements. I think he was on a podcast with Aiden Ross, and he was getting pumped up. And he made a statement, and he had to apologize for it, but he was still thumbing his nose at whatever he was talking about, thumbing his nose at it. He apologized, but he added an LOL to it. He's a young guy. The young guys think different. So, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. He also had his coach, Sean McVay. Sean McVay had to answer some questions about it, and Sean McVay was visibly PO'd when he was talking to the press. All the time I've seen Sean McVay, ever since he stepped on the scene, he was like one of the coolest coaches. Like, he was up there with Tomlin before Tomlin got a little bit too old. Like, Tomlin been in the game, so I mean, like, the coolness is kind of faded a little bit. But McVay, even though he's been in for a while, he still got that air of cool to him, even though he's becoming a little grizzled. But he was visibly angry when he was answering those questions. Some of that stuff was like the first time he heard it. And just to speak on the people, Puka Nakcua, like the podcast dudes, I guess he invited his brother and the podcast dude onto the Rams facility, and they had told him no. They've been talking about it. I heard this like last week when they was talking to him about some of the stuff he was doing. So if he could make McVay, and McVay still rolled for him, was still riding for him, because he was out there killing it, wasn't he? So I mean, like, McVay handled it as well as he could, considering the situation, considering his emotions at the time. I think he handled it pretty good. So that had me thinking about Antonio Brown, because if you don't know, let's restate. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, even though I don't talk about it much, because I ain't talking about nothing until playoffs, because it's been every year. Anyway, had me thinking about Antonio Brown. Now, if people don't remember Antonio Brown, Antio, just added. Antonio Brown was on the road to being one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. The numbers he was putting up, some of the plays he was making were unbelievable. I mean, he was doing it. But then after he got knocked out in that playoff game against Cincinnati when Vontaze Burfict, like, man, you can't hit people like that no more. But Vontaze Burfict got a shot on him, knocked him silly, and they say that's where the mental issues that Antonio Brown is experiencing now came from. But after that hit, he started saying more crazy, started doing a lot of more extreme things, was caught in certain situations. That was the beginning of it. And that had me thinking about a couple of things, but the main thing I'm going to think about, Puka Nakcua is taking a lot of hits, just to state that. He's taking a lot of hits, if I'm not mistaken. He's had, like, numerous concussions, and he's not a big guy, but he's a stout guy. So, I mean, like, he's built for it, but you can only take so many hits to the head and concussions or whatever before you start seeing some things happen. Now, the media ain't jumping on it like they did with Antonio Brown. I'm not going to go there like that, but I'm just saying, just being real. They not talking about it like they was with Antonio Brown, like it was constant. The coverage was constant. Now they talking about it and then they putting it away. I wonder where that's going to go. But I'll say this. It was a wide receiver before Puka Nakcua was in LA that was killing it. And people don't even talk about him now. If you don't know, I'm talking about Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp was mobbing. Him and Matthew Stafford was killing the league. And he was getting a bunch of injuries. And then they sent him away. And he's in Seattle right now. They don't talk about him too much. I don't see no Cooper Kupp highlights. I don't hear about him being, So, I mean, like, wide receivers can burn out pretty fast. I'll just say that. They can burn out pretty fast. The ones that keep quiet a little bit, keep quiet as they can, maintain their composure, those are the ones that last. But, like, you got a bunch of wide receivers that Chad Johnson, I say T.O., Randy Moss. Now, Randy Moss, it's a kind of interesting thing with Randy Moss. Randy Moss lasted for a little bit. He had those years in Minnesota, then he went to the Raiders, fell off the map, then went to New England, had that one great year, and then he had another year that was pretty good. That was the year without Tom Brady, if I'm not mistaken. And he was gone. He wasn't gone out the league, but that was it for him. Like, I remember he was playing for San Francisco at the end of his career. I think he could have still did it, but I don't know. But that's a whole nother subject. But like I say, you could be a wide receiver that's killing the league for a minute, and then you just completely disappear. So, like Puka Nakcua, keep your head, son. You doing your thing. I want to see you maintain. That's pretty much it, man. Grandpa out.